All right, let's take a look at two-step equations. Two-step equations have two operations occurring with the variable. So we have two steps to do before we can solve for the variable. Keep in mind that there are often more than two steps to do. The question above is an example of that. In this one, we had to distribute this 6 to the different terms inside the parentheses before we could actually solve for what u was. When you're solving these problems, keep in mind that you use the order of operations in reverse when you're using the canceling method. Let's start off with one that's a little simpler. 4x plus 2 equals 10, and we're trying to figure out what x is. So I'm going to begin by visualizing this on a number line. And I have 4 jumps plus 2 to get to 10. That's what this problem is actually telling us what we're doing. And so I need to figure out how big those jumps are in order to get to 10. Now, we've used lots of strategies in class to figure these out. And if I want to go ahead and start using the canceling strategy, I'm going to write out my problem. 4x plus 2 equals 10. And if you guys remember, I had said you have to do the order of operations in reverse. So in this case, we're going to deal with our addition and subtraction parts of the problem before we do the multiplication and division parts of the problem. So I know that I've got a positive 2 on both sides of these, so I'm going to subtract to cancel those parts of the equation out. And so I'm left with 8 over here. I'm going to bring down that equal sign. And now it's really important when you're solving these equations to bring down each part of the equation, because we don't want to leave anything behind, or we don't want to forget to show that step of the problem. I don't have to worry about the 2's anymore. They cancel, and it doesn't really make any sense to bring down like a 0. So once they cancel out, I don't have to worry about them. But I do still have to worry about this 4x. So 4x is showing 4 times x. So we know in here we have a 4 times something to get to 8. So I'm going to divide by 4 to get x all by itself. So I'm going to cancel out my 4's, and I have x equaling 8 divided by 4, which is 2. So let's look at this more complex problem. We have 6 parentheses u plus 13 equaling 162. I'm going to go ahead and finish up that parentheses right there too. So we're going to begin by distributing that 6 to the two terms inside the parentheses. Right now I have 6 times u and 6 times 13. If I were to just subtract 13 and start working through this, I would be missing 5 other 13's that are over here. So the distributive property says we take the number outside the parentheses and we multiply it times both of the terms inside the parentheses. So we are left with 6u, and then when we multiply, we're going to bring down that plus sign actually. When we multiply 6 times 13, we have 78. We're going to continue to bring down the rest of that equation because that hasn't changed yet. So remember, I'm using reverse order of operation to solve this. So I'm going to have to take care of any addition and subtraction before I take care of any multiplication and division. So I know I have 78 over here, and there's 78 in 162. So I'm going to subtract 78 from each side. And that ends up canceling the 78s over here. So I have to bring down that 6u. On this side of the equation, I have only a 6u left, and I have 84 over here. Now, all that's left to do is a multiplication or a division. We have 6 times u equaling 84. So we have 6 of some number over here, which would be 6 of whatever that number is over here. So I'm going to divide by 6 to figure out what that number is. My 6 cancel, and I'm left with u equaling, and 84 divided by 6 is 14. And There we go. So it took a little work at the beginning to make sure I put all like terms together. In this case, I had to distribute that 6 to the 2 terms in the parentheses. And then when I took my time and showed all of my steps moving down, I end up with u equals 14.